Welcome to Cooking with Passion, the very first episode of many. My name is Chef Dwayne Howard, and today we are going to, the theme today is going to be rotisserie chicken. And there's a lot of times where we buy rotisserie chickens and we just warm it up or just throw it on a plate with a side and call it a day, which I think is pretty boring. So what I'm going to do today is have a couple of creations. It's not really creations, nothing new, so to speak, but just more creative ways to use your rotisserie chicken, create a little excitement to your dish. Two dishes that we're going to do are chicken pot pie first, and then after that, we're going to do a chicken noodle soup. What's the key is to, a lot of ingredients are the same, so it's actually going to save you a lot of money. First, what we have here, we're going to take rotisserie chicken, which I've already pretty much pulled, and you can use white and dark meat. It's a combination that's great for flavors. Also, I have, on Money Saver here, I have a combination of celery, carrots, onions, okra, potatoes, lima beans that you can use for your vegetables. And then we're going to have our seasonings, which are salt, pepper, basil, oregano, thyme. And we're going to cook in a combination of canola oil with olive oil. And here we have rolled pie shells, pie crust, and we'll get to that in a minute. First, we're going to turn on our stove. And we're going to cook our vegetables and our chicken. Go ahead and get that nice and hot. Usually want to use about maybe a couple tablespoons of oil. You don't need too much. Want to get that good and hot. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is take our pie crust shells. Now you want to get it at room temp where it can be about 15-20 minutes so it's easier to roll out. And it's all right if it breaks apart. The beauty of it is that since it's soft, it can be pieced right back together. So checking our heat. Should be a little bit hotter, but that's okay. So we're gonna get that started. It's starting to sizzle, so that's great. Put your vegetables and your chicken, they all can go on at the same time. And in terms of amounts, it's whatever you really want to put in. More vegetables, more chicken, it really doesn't matter. You don't have to have the exact amount. So we're going to take some kosher salt, black pepper, basil, oregano, and thyme. I love the combination of herbs. You can never go wrong with herbs. What we're going to do, we're going to mix that together. Just let that cook to more so when the vegetables are thawed out and when all the seasonings are incorporated. So in the meantime, what I've done, and you can buy these also in the grocery store, it's like 6 in a pack. You can get 4 pans, shells. We take our crust, just lay the whole thing right in the middle, right in the middle. Now if you get a hole, just pinch it. All you gotta do is pinch. And we just work our way around so you cover all of the silver. And what I like to do is take a knife and just kind of cut around just to shape it so it's not falling over. Because what's going to happen when it cooks, it gets crusty and it's going to fall in the oven. And we don't want it to fall in the bottom of your oven and it just starts to burn. All right. Just press down in there. So now we're checking on our veggie chicken. Smells great. Just keep mixing that around. Now the next step is really important. There's 2 ways to do this. We can either have it more creamy or just more juicy. What I have here, I just have a chicken broth that I pretty much you can have chicken base. You can buy in the stores, mix it with hot water, or you can have chicken boil hot water and just put chicken cubes in. Or if you want to make it creamy and thicker, you can put a roux in it, which pretty much is equal parts flour and butter. So what I'm going to do, I had chicken stock that I already made. I'm going to add a couple of 6-ounce ladles to it. Just let that simmer a little bit. Like I said earlier, there's different ways to have chicken pot pie. You can have it more juicy, or you can have it with creaminess. You can even add heavy cream to it if you like. Okay, once this is already done, once you put that broth in, just let it maybe simmer about a couple of minutes. So you got our crust. Like I said earlier, just shape it all around. Now what you want to do with the other crust is do the same thing. Just open it right up. Once again, big key is 15, 20 minutes room temp. That's what will be perfect every time. So what we want to do is take our mixture. Let's just pour the whole thing right in. That smells great. Pour that right in. Take your pie crust shell, put it right on top. And what I'll do, I'll start pinching up top. And just start cutting the edges. Key is cut and pinch, cut and pinch. Also, another technique, you can actually start tucking it under if you like as well. Then right before I put it in the oven, take the sharp part of the knife, the really sharp tip, and just score it all across so it can get it can cook evenly. And also it's a pretty nice design. Pretty much I put it in the oven, 375, and it takes approximately just about 30 minutes. This is the final product. I became a chef because I got at a crossroads. My degree is business with a concentration in banking and finance. And for years I tried to get into banking, couldn't. And along the way I was working in restaurants, and I honed my craft. I learned from a lot of great chefs and just kept going until up to 2003, my wife and I opened up our business, and I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had been doing this since '93, but I took it to the next level in 2003. Everybody can pretty much get a hold of us on our webpage. Feel free to check us out. We're going to be doing great things with our new show. We were looking for sponsors and people to be guests on the show. And it's going to be good fun, good times, and you get to try food. Second part of today, we're going to do chicken noodle soup. Basically, like I mentioned earlier, we're just changing the veg that we had earlier from the chicken pot pie to the chicken noodle soup. We're going to have remirpoix, which I mentioned earlier, which is celery, onions, and carrots. We're going to have our whole rotisserie chicken, our noodles, and our seasonings. So let's get started. First, I got a pan going that's nice and hot. And we're going to saute our mirepoix first. Very good. Then we have our whole rotisserie chicken. Same applies earlier like the chicken pot pie. You can pretty much put as much as you want, as little as you want. And we're going to go ahead and do our seasonings. Got our kosher salt, black pepper, basil. Extra herbs is always nice. Oregano. And our thyme. This is a nice, quick, easy dish. It's especially great for the winter time, especially when it gets cold, if it consistently gets cold. So you just saute that. There's different ways you can do your chicken. You can either have it cubed, you can pull, you have it pulled, doesn't matter, whatever's your preference. And we're also going to use the beauty of the dishes that I'm doing, it's like you can use the same ingredients. So I'm going to use the chicken broth that I used earlier as well for this. So you mix that all around, getting it all really good. Some want their vegetables crunchy, some want it just right, al dente, or it doesn't really matter. It's your preference, but I prefer to cook your vegetables well. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the broth and slowly add just remember we are doing chicken noodle soup, so you can add a decent amount of broth. Ladle that in. All right, I turn it up a little bit. You just want to get that cooked down some. What I like to say do with the fettuccine noodles as well is I like to chop up the noodles a little bit. Some people like the noodles long, but I like to have them a little bit chopped up. So let's just take a couple of handfuls. They don't have to be really, really small dice, just a medium dice. Because you don't want to have it to like you're having spaghetti. I mean, you want to have it a little bit cut up. Makes for better chicken noodle soup. And just keep mixing as we go. And the good part is too, with having chicken stock on hand, once you put your noodles in, it soaks up a lot of the juice at times. If you keep it in there a little while, you can always add more stock to it. So I keep mixing. So I'll take my noodles and slide it on in. Let's see. I like to have more broth in mine. Like I said earlier, if you want to just add some more broth. It won't hurt nobody. You can have pretty much, this goes great with Ritz crackers, any kind of crackers, it tastes great. So I continue to let that cook. What I'm going to do is once that's done, I'm going to lay it in a bowl so everybody can see what the end result is. It's nice, quick, and easy. there's chicken noodle soup.